Sister Wives is set to return to TLC on Sunday, September 15th, with a highly anticipated season full of new revelations and emotional moments. Kody, Mary, Janelle, Christina, and Robin continue to share a genuine glimpse into the complexities of their relationships, moving forward as best as they can for themselves and one another. This season, the family faces the devastating passing of Janelle and Kody's son, Garrison Brown. Through the heartbreaking pain, the family navigates this incredible tragedy and comes together to mourn and celebrate his life.
Hi friends, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It's Tuesday, August 20th, 2024. I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. Kody Brown and Tony Padron, Kody and Tony Padron are back on their Patreon talking all things Sister Wives, and Miss Kody, who actually has a full-time job now that is not related to the Sister Wives, still doing their Patreons, but not wholly relying on the show anymore for their income. And they reacted to the trailer of the series, which came out last week, which showed all of the drama coming up in this next season. In this, you hear Kody say some pretty awful things, like he tells Mary that he never should have married her, that it's her fault that he didn't love her. He and Robin go at it. Robin says she feels like an idiot that's been left behind. There's a lot, and Janelle threatening to sue him.
I've actually thought about asking if he wants to buy me out, but we got to pay it off, and he's not talking to me about it, so I think I'm going to have to lawyer up.
Such a teenage drama. Civil war. Total civil war.
I'm having a hard time feeling like losing respect for you.
Robin, I can't even get it straight with you right now.
Obviously, when you have a family that has been completely divided, not only by polygamy, but also by being on a reality show, and we all know that TLC has a really good track record of families going onto reality TV and then getting busted wide open, whether it's a family, the heat of a scandal with an arrest, or like the Duggars, or it's a divorce like John and Kate, or it's some sort of mess like the Sister Wives. The families on the show don't do very well long term. The longer they seem to stay on reality television, like the roll-offs, the easier they split up. But TLC doesn't stop filming, and they like to turn the family into drama. And this has been something that apparently some of the kids on the show that were part of Sister Wives are not a fan of. And when Miss Kody watched the trailer, this is what she had to say, because she was clearly not amused by what she saw.
Obviously, like, they had a lot of fun when they edited this trailer to get as much spice as possible.
Yes.
So we're obviously missing a crap ton of context around
and
trailer,
the music.
But at the same time, it was said. So no matter what context it was in, it was said. Oh my gosh. They called Gwen's engagement party a party. I feel like that's probably because they didn't film the wedding and they didn't really care about Gwendolyn at all. They cared about, oh, David's gonna be there. Oh, Cody's gonna be there. Oh, Spice. So, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, that is awful though. That trailer and then the 3 rings falling off.
Yeah, that's what everyone in the comments kept saying.
Oh my god.
They're like, that was the best part.
Whoa. Wow. That was
yeah, there's some cringy moments there.
Why is this show still going?
What do you mean? Look how spicy that was.
Well, that was so spicy. But
how is
like,
it not still going?
How don't these people understand that one of the reasons why the family's been ripped apart is because of the show?
Kody honestly seemed the most bothered about things that her dad was saying about, like, that he said to Mary, it's your fault that I don't love you, and saying I should never have married you, and just all of the things that he was saying that were just really ridiculous and cruel and mean. And, you know, the irony here is that for a long time, the last year or so, Kody's been trying to say that her dad is like this new reformed person. Well, this was before the passing of Garrison, I should say, and that he was becoming less angry and he wasn't being as bad. But the more that Kody has watched of the show, the less she seems inclined to take his side in things. And obviously now that she has moved further away and she's living in North Carolina, the distance between her and her dad, and even her and Robin, is obvious, and she doesn't seem to see his side of things as much as anyone else. Now, she does make a point here that yes, the show is a contributing factor to the demise of the family, and that is because of the fact that they're not allowed to move on from anything. They can't actually resolve things because everything that happens in their lives becomes sound bites that are then used by the network as recap clips, look back clips, and then they have to talk about it multiple times from when it's said to then being interviewed by it, then doing a tell-all about it, and then it comes up in every single tell-all preceding that and even seasons later. So they're never really allowed to let go of the drama that happens in their life. And then you add in the layer of the inequity of polygamy, and the show basically blew up everything, but the family and the polygamy was a mess to begin with, and so the show just exacerbates that. But the family is very divided over the show because half of them don't want anything to do with it, i.e. the kids. More than half of the kids don't want anything to do with it. And then the rest are just the adults that are in contracts that are profiting off this. And she does make a good point. How do they not realize that the family is this way, partially, in my opinion, because of the show?
This, I'm not gonna lie.
That's true. We can
this
get to
trailer
it.
does not make me excited to watch the episode because I'm just like, oh my gosh, what stupid thing are they gonna say next? But I am excited to like meet David on the show and watch the birth of the boys because that'll be all there too.
The shots.
I know where that shot happened.
You do?
Pretty sure. Pretty 100% sure I know where that shot happened actually. But I can't tell you guys because it is one of those disclosure situations that you'll find out in the season.
Do I know? Do I know?
Yeah, because I remember Mom telling me about it too. She goes, Janelle took a shot with me. I was like, whoa, that's cool. I remember the conversation around it too.
So obviously, the longer the show is on the air, the more stupid things come out of the mouth of their parents. And I think when you're an adult and you have your own family, watching your parents fight for profit as a part of content on a show could maybe be viewed as embarrassing, especially if you're trying to have a professional life outside of all of this. So I can see the apprehension with her, but at the same time, she's also on her Patreon talking about it. So there's that. However, she does mention that and alludes to the fact that there is a non-disclosure situation that's happening. So she said, I can't really say that due to a disclosure situation that you will hear about this season. I honestly don't know if they're even going to be able to talk about the fact that this is the season that Kody was so angry at the kids that they were talking out and speaking out against him online. This is when Peyton was going on blogging channels and doing interviews, and Gwendolyn had her whole Patreon that was dedicated to trashing Kody and Robin, and now she barely ever uploads. And then there are all these kids that are starting to spill the truth and the secrets, and then suddenly it all gets cut off, and they're all bound by NDAs now. Funny how that works. Like when your family is a business, it's business over everything. And that's why these types of things divide families. Frankly, if you had to live your life being like, I can't tell you anything about my life because of the no spoilers, and you can't disparage me because you can't disparage me as a part of the show because you're under a contract. I mean, imagine how gross that is if you're the kid.
But that's interesting that they added Garrison in there because, I mean, that shouldn't be part of this season. This season was like 2 years ago. So either they're going to end with it and they're going to actually match up the timelines and they're speeding things up.
They probably will.
Yeah, because that timeline doesn't add up with all their stuff.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Not
I'm so
ideal.
nervous about how they handle all the Garrison stuff. Me too. I've heard a couple stories about how they address it, talk about it, share it. And I don't love any of their ideas on it, but
It's very unlikely it goes well.
it's very unlikely I will like any of it.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll find out what happens with it all. But I do hope whatever they do, it's respectful and it's about him. It's not about
Anything
petty
else.
grievances, anybody else's relationship. It's just about him.
Obviously, the most controversial ad of the season is that Garrison took his own life in March of 2024. And it is confusing for even McKelty as to why it would be a part of the season, because season 19 was filmed more than 2 years ago and Garrison's passing occurred after the season had wrapped. I have said numerous times that it's obvious that they're doing this because they cannot go into season 19 and not address it because it's such a topical and relevant part of the story and a huge tragedy in the family. I see McKelty's point in all of this, and this was obviously the same concerns that many of you have expressed, and me, when we found out about the passing and whether or not it was going to be aired and how it would be viewed and how it would be told on the show. Many of us were kind of disgusted when we found out that they started filming almost days after the passing actually happened, giving the family next to no time to actually grieve and move on with their lives and handle it privately. And then you have to add that during that same period, they were asking for privacy, and yet that privacy isn't going to be a part of it because they were filming, right? So you're saying to me, like, don't ask me questions, don't talk about this publicly, we want privacy, but then it's also going to be not private on the show, right? And so McKelty makes a very good point that she hopes it's respectful to Garrison. And I think the most respectful thing to Garrison would be to not include it at all, but they can't do that because Kody is all about making sure that every detail and everything that happens in the family is included. And because Garrison and Kody's disagreements and estrangement was such a focal part of the show for several seasons, 3 or 4 leading up to his passing, it would be almost remiss of the producers to leave it out. I see her point because it's not going to be about Garrison. I just cannot see in any capacity. Maybe one episode will be about Garrison, but the rest is going to turn into all of the grievances around it. And frankly, I don't think you can even talk about Garrison's death without talking about the grievances and how so much of what has happened in this family culminated into what Garrison did that night, right? And Garrison was dealing with severe mental health issues and a drinking problem that no one on the show has ever talked about. I find it interesting that we have now learned about Garrison and how his blood alcohol level was very high at the time of his passing. In the same trailer, you're seeing Janelle and Christine take a shot, right? So one of the big components of leaving a fundamentalist sect is that when you have never been in a world of moderation and you are told that you either can or cannot do something. So when it comes to alcohol, you cannot drink because it's a sin and it is completely an abomination and it's wicked and it makes you do really bad things. When people end up leaving the cult, they don't understand the moderation of it all. They don't understand that there is such a thing as alcoholism because to them, any amount of drinking is alcoholism, right? Any amount of debauchery is full-on debauchery. And that happens across the gamut. It's not just with drinking. It can be with gambling. It can be with sex. It can be with any taboo topic that the cult says you cannot do. There's no moderation. And so it's like a kid that's been stifled and then they're like, I'm going to try it all, right? So you're going to see the family starting to drink openly, which again is interesting given what we've seen happen with Garrison. And it also sort of makes me wonder if there's other people within the family struggling with alcohol-related use disorders as well. Regardless, his death is not going to be about his death. It's going to be about the relationships. It's going to be about the drama because his death in and of itself won't be dramatic enough for the show, which is sick if you think about it, right? And I'm sure it's going to cause issues with the family. It's going to open wounds with the family when they see how it all plays out. And it could cause further divisions with the family as a result. I mean, McKelty says she doesn't like how she's heard any of the ways that they plan on telling the story. And I guess I can't blame her. I mean, I can't blame her. She continues to participate in the show, although now that she has left Utah, it seems unlikely that she's going to appear on the show that much because she doesn't live anywhere near the family anymore. So it's kind of like when Maddie left, you hardly ever see Maddie on the show anymore because she's nowhere near the cameras. Maddie might come back now that Janelle's living with her, but McKelty doesn't live by Janelle and Maddie. She's like 3 or 4 hours away from them. So McKelty's move is not just leaving Utah, but it's also like removing herself from the show in many ways. So I don't know what to say, but McKelty isn't on board with it. She doesn't seem happy about it. She doesn't seem to understand why the show keeps going on. She also said that the show is likely to continue for at least 2 to 3 more seasons, even after this season. So this is season 19, and she's saying it could go to season 22 or 3. And we know how contracts work in reality television. They'll film as long as you let them and as long as people tune in. So what are your thoughts about it? Are you shocked to hear what her reaction is? Do you think other people in the family have the same feelings? And how do you think the Sister Wives producers are going to handle the situation? Garrison, will it be done with tact, or will they turn it into drama and scandal and tabloid for the show? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed, and click the bell so you never miss a video. Bye, everyone.